Okay, it is
It does.
5:05 on Wednesday, May 20th. We're going to start the Town of Sangerville Board of Selectmen meeting. We'll start with Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Item 2, approval of the minutes, May 6, 2020 Select Board meeting, and B, 2019 Annual Town Meeting minutes.
Make a motion to approve A and B.
Second.
Any further discussion? No, we vote. All three voted in favor. Item 3, review of treasurer's warrants, payroll 35 and 36, accounts payable 37.
Make a motion to approve A and B is read.
Second.
Any more discussion? None? All in favor? Yes, we vote 3 in favor. Item 4, people will not be invited to speak during the Board of Selectmen's meeting due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Anyone wishing to address the board should send an email or letter to the town manager. We will go back to having open session during the next phase of the governor's plan for reopening the state. Any questions or discussion about that?
No, but I'd make a note that we are all,
We are all social distancing. We brought in extra tables and we do have seats in the hallway if people wanted to attend. We have plenty of room out there for probably 4 or 5 people and maintaining safe distance.
right.
So, moving on to item 5. Old business, budgetary issues due to the pandemic.
I looked at the excise tax numbers and the revenue sharing numbers again, mostly because we got a revenue sharing check this week, and I was like, that was a pretty decent check. Right now, revenue sharing's up.
Okay, so they're going with last year's flow,
Well,
must be.
The governor's office also sent this saying that we aren't really going to feel it until next month in terms of
Okay,
how bad it is. I did look at excise tax, it was awful during April. Right now, it looks pretty bad in May, except that we're doing business like crazy. And we have 5-6 days of waiting on customers left. And I think we'll probably be pretty close to
really close to the normal May.
the normal.
I'll register my Jeep though.
Okay, well,
It's due.
last year we took in $31,673.25. Right now, we've only taken in $17,000, but we're averaging $1,500 to $1,800 a day in registrations. The governor has asked that people start registering their vehicles and stop holding off.
Is there a drop dead date on that, when you can be pulled over again?
There was, but
It was the 11th, right?
they've recanted and said we're revising that, but the revision hasn't hit my desk yet, so.
So it's still the 11th until they've changed it.
We're explaining to people that,
It really doesn't matter unless the sheriff's pulling you over again.
100%.
we're open by appointment, the sheriff's department knows that, they're gonna be a little less lenient than previously,
Sure, because you can get it done.
yeah.
Yeah.
Just a question, as far as appointments, if I were to call for an appointment, how does that work?
You call for an appointment, you state what business you want to get done, because we have people coming in, oh, I want to register my vehicle. Oh, by the way, can I get a fishing license?
Oh,
Can
okay.
I register my boat, my four-wheeler? And so we're asking people to tell us everything that they're registering, because you have the smart idea of making a log, we're taking down
Yeah.
their numbers so that we can get back to people if there were ever an issue. We also have been having a few issues with people who've been out of state wanting to come in without quarantining.
Oh.
Well, it's a no. I mean,
Yeah,
that's the governor's mandate at this
Yeah.
time.
that's,
But I don't know how you prove
Well-
whether or not they do it.
I would say, what if they say, oh, no, we've been here for 3 weeks?
we've had that issue. Person came in, had 10-day plates from out of state.
Here's your sign.
You know,
I quarantined.
yeah. They live on a road that wasn't open when they said they were back and quarantining, so, you know,
Oh,
so.
gosh.
Yes, we waited on them, but we did not let them come into the building, you know,
And what's your like wait time? If I were to call, would I get scheduled for today or tomorrow, or does it, you
we're
know, how's that
scheduling
working?
somebody every half hour.
But you have slots during the day?
It's like
Your
the
plan
day,
time.
generally, you know, people can get in, except, you know, when you get down to the last level, I can't come at that time, well, I'll come tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
We're turning away people who just show up.
Aha, okay. Yep, yeah.
I called in the morning to do my boat and she said, how about 3? And I came in, it worked perfect.
Okay, I gotta do my truck.
And they were really organized, and I love the setup with the window, the
Yes.
door split,
Yep.
it's really good.
Yeah, we're asking people who have masks still, and not all of them are. You don't have to. We never told them they absolutely had to.
Sure,
Bathrooms are still locked.
Good.
sure.
I've seen other towns, in a spreadsheet, you know, what are you doing? Some other towns are doing that. If we open the library, if they open the library, I don't know that we probably have to look at opening the bathrooms, but until then, you know, we have all the, we have sanitizers and gloves and masks and the new plexiglass and gate and.
Well, it's interesting on the excise tax, I thought you were really gonna lag and then you'd probably catch up in July or something, but
I think we'll catch up
it sounds like we're
sooner.
gonna catch up earlier.
We've had quite a few new vehicles registered, which is a good thing because, you know, higher excise. So we're trying to figure out if we can track that. Other towns do, as part of their budgeting process, so if we can figure that out, you could, you know.
There was I did notice, at least with the boat, there is a way to do it online if the town has opted into that program. And we weren't listed as,
We didn't opt in. You lose your agent fee. It's a process to get
but
registered.
just
on a
wondered,
boat.
I'm probably won't have another pandemic, but it would be helpful in terms of
We could.
all those registrations. Oh.
I felt that I was keeping people employed, and so
Mm.
we'd take phone calls and we'd do the registration and keep going that way, you know. Especially where people weren't supposed to be going anyway.
Well, the other thing is, like Dover, when we lived in Dover, I could do everything online, but there was no extra cost. Where if you were to do something through Sangerville, if you use your credit card, 'cause you have to if you do
You
it
can use your credit
online,
card, yeah.
there's a fee for it.
Well, I assume the agent fee was going to these towns, otherwise they wouldn't separate it by town. I mean, the state would have a site, like your hunting license.
Right.
You just go in and get a hunting license.
Anywhere.
I don't know if you get the agent fee for it, but the
The agent
boat,
fee.
they won't do that. You have to click on Dexter,
Right.
and then it opens up, and then when you enter your registration, it says that we don't show you in Dexter. Check with your own town, so, I'm guessing Dexter's getting something out of this, or we wouldn't have to keep track of it.
They don't,
I don't know why they're not just doing it like a hunt license.
no idea. I
Huh.
mean, the agent fee itself, that's what that fee goes for, it helps pay the labor, the process.
Right, I just was assuming they were still getting it. Otherwise, I don't know why they would have separate.
But I do know with Dover, I used to do everything online with Dover, there was never an added charge for doing it online and using your credit card.
I don't think there is. I think it's only when you come through here and we use our,
Oh.
I can check that.
Oh, that's right, you can use your credit card at the office, but there is a.
2.5%.
2.5%,
Yeah,
wow.
you know, people coming, can I pay my taxes?
Sure.
It's like, well, yeah, but you're gonna lose your discount by playing with your card because, you
Yeah,
know.
see, in Dover, that's not the case.
Yeah, I'm surprised that that's legal.
But it might not be, you can't pay your real estate. I don't know, anyway, it doesn't matter. Okay.
I'm not sure, I guess I will have to.
No, I don't, you can't pay your real estate. I mean, like when you're registering a car and that type of thing.
Oh, 100%, you can go in, you can do whatever you want on your credit card, you're gonna
Yeah.
get charged that
Yeah.
percent.
But retailers are allowed to not, or at least I've had them do it to me. If you're buying say, a car or a tractor, you say, hey, I'd like to put all this on my credit card. They've said, no,
Right.
$5,000 is the most you can put on a credit card. In a way, I mean, they're kind of doing the same thing in reverse.
Right,
But
right.
they never have ever said, you can put it on there, but we're gonna charge you 2.5%. That I've never run into.
No, that's why
Right.
when you go to a store, you'll never see that because they always do it the opposite direction. You'll see a cash discount. There isn't a
that's
fee for,
Yeah,
it's in
That's right.
terminology.
Yeah, that's true, how you look at it.
okay, anything else under the budgetary issues?
I sent the report to you, it's 12 pages, I didn't want to print it, from the governor's office. It seems to be all over the place. I can't get a good handle on, this is up, that is down. Obviously restaurants and lodgings down, but places like grocery stores and hardware stores are up.
Dale sent me an article from the Observer, I believe it was, and I think it was Dover Foxcroft's town meeting, or it was a select board meeting. And if you read the article, you got the impression that they knew what the
Yeah.
shortfalls were gonna
Yeah,
be. And like,
yeah, I sent that to you, didn't I, Brian? Or did I send that? What, yeah.
maybe you sent it to
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
It's like they knew,
They knew.
I couldn't open it on my phone and I haven't gone back to,
Oh, yeah,
No, I
no,
don't
they
think
knew.
I don't think they knew. I think what it is, I think it was kind of the same thing as we suspect.
Oh.
But I think they're
But it
kind
seemed
of,
like,
well, I think they were estimating, but the article didn't make it sound that way.
no.
No.
And the
not
reason
at
I
all.
think they were estimating is because their number was pretty low.
It was.
I mean, we felt like the whole amount of money that was in jeopardy for us was 175,000.
Right.
And they thought their number was gonna be around 200. Well, I'm guessing their whole jeopardy number is closer to 400,000 if we're at 175.
Yeah.
So I was just wondering how they got their number.
well, I can talk to,
Yeah, ask him.
Yeah.
Was that just an estimate or did you actually know? And if
because
you
I
didn't
kind
know-
of read that as, yeah, we need to worry about this amount of money.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
I mean, we have a
Yeah, I
number that we think we're gonna worry about, but we don't know that, so.
No.
No, and if their number was 2, I didn't think there was any way we were gonna be 175.
No way.
I think they're speculating, but.
It'd be interesting to find out how they arrived at that number.
I can tell you that, well, I was going to tell you in the town manager's report, we sent out the tax, we sent out the 30-day notices, we've issued the tax liens. There were fewer this year than last year. That's a plus. I talked to Josh Moran from Hamlin's and verified that we're supposed to get that 70% of the homestead, so we won't eat that, that won't hit us.
Oh.
That's a.
Well, that was a big chunk of it.
That's
yeah.
a big chunk of it. But when homestead goes up 5,000, your valuation goes,
I'm honestly, myself,
Yeah.
I'm more worried about next year.
yeah.
Because we're gonna get through the summer, hopefully this ends soon. By the fall hits, the state's gonna figure out where we're at. And I think you're gonna see, if you're
Well,
gonna
that
see,
fiscal year's only started. It's only gonna be starting next month.
Yeah, the state's gonna know whether they're gonna get their $3 billion bailout or not.
so I think next year was where,
Yeah, but we'll probably know, it's just maybe
Yeah.
bad.
I think it's, yeah,
Yeah.
I bet it's not gonna be good.
I doubt it, unless she gets that $3 billion.
Um,
Okay, on to, tax commitment.
Okay. So I showed you what we're projecting, which is the one with 17.96.
What line are we looking at?
It's 19, it's the middle box. That's what we were aiming for.
It's kinda not in a shadow.
Oh, okay,
It's
Yeah.
lighter than the others.
Yes.
Okay.
That is because we set the overlay at 30,000, because that would cover our discounts and our abatements.
And that's because we never spent over 22.
Correct.
That's how we arrived at that.
Yeah, 22, 23, right in that range.
Yeah.
We can change that. If you think that we aren't going to take in enough money. We can up that up all the way to 18.6.
Well,
18.46.
maybe I'm looking at it wrong, but it seems like if we don't take in enough money, the chances are we're not gonna have expenditures that exceed 25 on the discount,
No,
So
because,
there you
No.
go.
no,
right?
That's what I'm thinking.
I mean, if people drag their feet,
They're
and
not
so
gonna
we
get
have
to it.
less money, we'll spend less of the overlay.
Right.
that's true, but the overlay is also to protect you for those people who don't pay this year's taxes.
Ah, oh, that's interesting.
We never budget according to that, but that's why
Sure.
there's that range
Sure.
in that number, so.
Well, let's say
But right now
nobody
we're
paid their
looking what?
taxes.
Right now, we're looking pretty good in terms of, we put out fewer liens and,
Right. But if nobody paid their taxes, or half the people didn't pay their taxes, we still have an approved budget.
we do.
And I believe we can spend it. Now, we deal with the shortfall of our revenue next year, and we'd have a huge amount of interest, because we charge everybody 9%.
Oh,
But,
they're gonna pay it one way or the other.
yeah, well, but I don't think it interrupts our budget, does it? Our budget's approved.
Yeah,
Well,
I'm not sure you can spend money.
Well, it does, because you're budgeting, you're gonna get so much from,
So, if your revenue starts to come in short, your budget essentially would fail for this year,
correct.
if it comes in short enough.
Yep, good. Or you just go back and ask for more out of surplus or.
If you could have a meeting.
Yeah, if you could have a meeting,
Yep.
yeah. But if you couldn't, that would mean you just probably ought to be a little sharper with your pencil.
But if that's the scenario, this 30 either way isn't gonna matter.
It isn't gonna matter.
I don't, my inclination is to go with what we presented at the town meeting, which was the lesser of the three.
Well, your budget doesn't change, just your overlay,
Correct.
Right.
But a mill rate would change, right?
but your mill rate would change.
Yeah.
but isn't that wasn't that in the annual meeting, was a mill
Yes.
rate? Isn't it? No.
There's a projected one.
Oh, there's a projected, how is that worded? Oh, you don't have it? It
You
doesn't
don't have it exact, yeah.
But it just says, this is our projected,
Yeah. Until we commit, it's,
okay,
I don't think $30,000 is gonna make a difference one way or another.
That's where, you know,
yeah.
we're not opening the floodgate, it's 30 grand.
Now, if he was gonna say 100 grand, I mean, if we was really, seriously, I mean, if the registrations weren't coming in and property taxes, and you're gonna tell me, well, we're potentially looking at 100 grand right now, today, I'd worry about it.
I'm not feeling that right now,
But,
but.
yeah, well, I say I would just assume just go with what we
I just
thought.
wanted to put it in front of you so that you know that, and we'll be committing, probably, I'll have all the numbers for the next meeting, and then Josh will help me figure out how to do the trio commitment.
I have a friend who owns commercial real estate, and I was very shocked to find out that some of these national brands have called up and said, we're not paying. Starbucks says, we're not paying our rent. Sherwin-Williams said, we're not paying our rent. And I did not think that they would do that.
Wow.
The other side of it is you look locally at what's being sold for real estate, and it is moving fast. I'm seeing signs go up and pending within a week.
Yeah, these real estate investment trusts are an interesting animal, but anyway, I just thought publicly traded companies would probably not want to default on their lease. But maybe with a pandemic, you can get away with that, I don't know.
Maybe that's what they're thinking, or,
Well, it's the same thing, I think they're all part of it, there's things with the government and things to help with that, if they do that, so,
Could be.
yeah, I think there's more
You
money.
can't get
available.
access to the funds if
Sure.
you're paying, if you're current.
Yep,
But if you're the landlord, you gotta work something out with the bank or you're in trouble.
Yeah.
Have you had any, much, feedback from like citizens saying, I don't know what we're gonna do about taxes, we're struggling, anything, or many, or any?
a couple of the usual, you know, who are on the list every year, but no, I think some of the stimulus money is coming in the door.
Oh, yeah, makes sense, yeah.
Some people are using it to
Catch up?
Catch up.
That's
good
very
news.
good. So are we looking at this, that line then is the 17? Is that the one?
Yes,
96?
yes.
17960. And on this sheet is the overlay, where's the overlay on? Is it on here? or
Lower
not?
right-hand corner.
23.
Oh, okay, got it.
You see how it jumps to 65 and then 69?
Yes,
Yeah.
yep.
Now, one of these was assuming that every single person took the 2%,
Okay.
which has
Never
never happened.
No.
And that's why we kind of jostled it around and said, well, it's usually 22, 25. We felt like 30 was really more than enough.
Yeah.
Well, it's 2022, right? I don't think we ever hit.
No, I don't think we ever hit 30.
I think we've hit 23, but not 25.
Right.
So 30.
So I mean, 25 would've been moderately safe, but you're not that big.
Yeah.
No, that was
So I
good.
mean, even with the 30.
30 was generous.
Yeah, we still got a buffer there.
Well, 10% override.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't want to cut it any further and.
Right.
Okay. I hopefully, fingers crossed. So do you want a motion on that, or are you good to go, or?
No, I'm going to check all the numbers, make sure everything looks right, and then we'll be good to go for the next meeting.
Okay.
We'll commit and,
Okay.
sign all that stuff and run it through the computers and go from there.
Anything else? Cemetery policy.
I didn't advance much on that. I was hoping to figure out which pieces we might want to adopt as policy. MMA pointed out a few of them, like the visitor section, we can probably make it as policy and not an ordinance. But we might just want to put it all in ordinance. I don't know, it's really hard to change an ordinance. You get a once a year shot at changing it, so I'm still working on that. The one thing I did do is revamp the cemetery deeds. Our deeds are full of whereases and heretofores and repeats itself twice and makes no sense. And so Lauren and I were looking around, she grabbed verbiage from what Dover uses.
Mhm.
I had that ready for you to sign on the next, under new business, but we're not going to because I spoke with Katie Foster from Rosman Winchell and said, hey Katie, could you just give me a quick idea if this is better than what we have or other legal issues? She said it was fine, but there was something that we could make clearer.
Okay.
And so she sent me it at 3:45,
Oh.
so I didn't get it on this paper for you. You can approve it under new business if you want, and then I'll get the paperwork for you to sign, or we can wait till next time.
So does it read better now?
Yeah,
The one
it's
that Katie
clearer.
sent?
Katie sent, well, I'll read this one to you. So, cemetery deeds are quitclaim deeds. Cemetery quitclaim deeds. So they're easier, I think, to track through the database at the registry. The town of Sangerville, a municipal corporation located in Piscataquis County, state of Maine, for consideration paid, releases to, whose mailing address is a certain lot or parcel of land situated in, she left Townhouse Cemetery as an example, so-called in the town of Sangerville, Piscataquis County, state of Maine, described as follows: plot number, lot number, section number, in the Townhouse Cemetery, which lot is shown on the map of the Townhouse Cemetery, which is on file at the Town of Sangerville Municipal Office, 1 Town Hall Ave, Sangerville, Maine. This conveyance is subject to the following limitations, privileges, and conditions. 1, that the said lot of land shall not be used for any other purpose than as a place of burial for the dead, and no trees within the said lot of land or border thereof shall be cut down or destroyed without the consent of said grantors, their successors, or assigns. The proprietor of said lot shall have the right to erect stone monuments or sepulchral structures. All stones, monuments, and sepulchral structures shall be set at the head of the lot. The proprietor of said lot shall keep in repair at own expense the landmarks that now establish the limits of said lot. The town of Sangerville has caused this instrument to be signed on its behalf by A, B, and C, Joan Cabot, Dale Gray, Mike Wark, the duly elected and authorized members of its select board, this, the 16th or what, the 20th day of May 2020. And then it has a place for all of you to sign, and a witness to sign, and it has a place for it to be notarized. She also drew up transfer of lot ownership, be it known that on the day of, in the year of, the owner or heir or sign to the above named owner gives said lot in plot, in section, in cemetery, transferred, conveyed, and sold as said lot with all the above named limitations, restrictions, and privileges, as well as perpetual care designation to blank, and then their address. His/her, their heirs of the signs for the amount of. We don't do that. I recommend that we don't allow them to transfer to anybody but back to us. Just causes a major headache, especially if they don't register it. Then what do you do? It's like you've got a piece of paper, it's like.
Right, yeah,
So I recommend that we only transfer them back to us, but, so.
So should we actually have that, say that in the original?
This is a separate
Yeah, I
piece.
know, but I'm just saying,
We could,
if you added
that it's
that,
not transferable,
correct,
okay.
not transferable or
or that it has to be,
conveyed
Not
back.
transferable to who?
Anybody, meaning you couldn't sell yours to,
What, can you get it though?
no, non-transferable,
No,
it's non-transferable.
If you were to die, your heirs would be able to have your lot.
Oh, okay.
But you can't sell your lot to anybody other than,
Even your heirs, you can't exchange cash for it.
nope.
Right.
Right.
You
Okay,
can, and you can let anybody be buried in your lot if you want to.
okay, I totally agree
But
with
you
all
can't.
that. Yep.
right, because I had or a friend had a situation that they wanted to be buried down in Bar Harbor. And, because they spent every single year of their 88 years, summers in Bar Harbor, but they couldn't buy it because they weren't residents of Bar Harbor. So they had to be a friend that lived there, and the friend that bought the lot or plot and let them be buried there, but couldn't transfer the deed.
Right.
Right,
So,
right.
yeah.
I've got somebody right now who keeps calling me because his brother has passed away. His father is buried in the village cemetery, but the father is buried in his sister's lot. And they've lost touch with his sister, and there's room there, but I'm like, I can't, okay, I don't own
Right,
that.
right, so
You have to work that out.
Wow. Wow.
Note to
But
self.
if the sister says yes, how do we know?
We get it in writing.
Oh, so we do require like a certified letter from the deed holder, I mean,
In terms of heirship, you either go through probate and you can get a signed and notarized copy of that, but it becomes hard. We had one this summer, and I'm not sure technically. Father bought 4 lots. He used 2 of them, and there was a note in the file that said he'd left the other 2 to his 2 daughters. Problem being, he had
Oh my God.
so
cremation.
Yeah, there you go.
yeah. So I mean, it gets sticky. Everything I've read says that you can have somebody come in and attest to the fact that yes, I know so and so is this person's daughter, or this, where there's no will, there's no probate record.
One thing that I did notice is, and I don't think that was in our verbiage before, but that actually said where your stone's gonna be placed.
I noticed
That wasn't new, I mean, that wasn't in any of our old deeds, right?
No. Well, it was in our policy for the village.
It was in the policy, but as far as
Cemetery.
it wasn't in the deeds.
I don't believe so. No.
And also the maintenance, it was at the very end, it said
Yeah.
it's going to be maintained by,
At own expense, the land.
Own expense.
At the landmarks that now establish the limits of the lot, so I don't have to.
Oh, the landmarks.
So once it's marked, I don't have to.
Oh, that's, you don't have to maintain the, okay,
They should
okay.
get corner lot markers and
Okay, that makes
mark
sense.
their lot.
Jeez.
But that wasn't verbiage I asked her to put in either.
Just wondering if you really want that in there.
That's
People
why I
wouldn't
that's
be-
why I
People moving
didn't,
their
that's why I didn't
Exactly.
put it when it
I mean,
came in.
because, part of us, that's part of the problem we've had in
Having
the
the
past
control.
is you lose that control and you lose where pins are and where those are. So I don't know if I would want them to have that control of changing your pins and your markers. That's something the town should always maintain.
We never have.
I know,
It's a big issue.
100%. But I think it's something that, I mean, when you set that up and you put those in place, those in theory should be there forever, but we should be the one, I would think, that should stay
What
in
are they,
control of
stakes,
that.
rebar stakes or something? Or-
I'm not sure how
We've been
they've done it
using
different ways.
Metal, they're little round metal discs. We have two sizes and they come with big spikes.
Okay.
And so you mark the plots,
Mm-hmm.
outside of the plots with big ones and the
Oh.
lots with the smaller ones.
Mm.
They remove them once you bury somebody
Right.
there. But for instance, supposedly we surveyed the village cemetery. I can't find a single stake.
Hmm.
Bob and I are going to try to get he has a
Oh, metal.
metal
Oh.
detector. We're gonna try to figure that out, but
But a lot of places use those, you can actually get them in granite.
yep.
So it's a 2 or 3 inch circle, and they come in 3-4 foot lengths. I
Oh,
mean, you just
wow.
post hole dig and sink them right in, and
Whoa.
you just keep them down, you mow over it forever,
Yep.
but they don't go anywhere.
But could, if you, as long as you keep them,
As long as the frost doesn't start pushing
Yeah.
them up.
You just, as
Up
soon as
and
you,
down
when as
and-
you mow, you just push them back down or
yeah.
to reset them, but they don't seem to go.
And
But
we're
I've seen
stealing
a
it.
lot of, yeah, you're not getting them out.
Yeah, I thought about maybe marking each row. Because, every time you go in, you have to
Oh, figure out where you are.
figure out where you are and,
Yeah, that's
Well, I
a
would
lot of
think at
time.
least at minimum, we should be marking
Yeah,
the ends.
right.
So I mean, worst case scenario, if there was never an issue,
Measure
you
off
got
that.
the fixed
yeah,
ends of each row.
yeah.
So you could measure up or whatever if you needed to.
Yep. And sometimes you need
Yeah,
to.
Other than that.
Yeah, I think we still have work to do on the policy. This lady is coming in to get her mother buried. She has paid for the lot. We'll have to work on the deed.
Oh, because you don't wanna use the old deed?
I don't wanna use this new one that
Oh.
the lawyer just sent us. I don't know that I want to use, I had it all printed out
Oh, for us to sign.
for,
well, do you need to approve this like soon? I mean, before the next meeting?
I think she wants her buried the next month. So I'm not sure it's the next meeting, but probably,
Or could we approve the sale and then when you get the verbiage, the way
Yeah, we
you
can all
need it,
come
we
in
could
and
just
sign
stop in and sign it?
yes. Because we've never,
Unless the verbiage needs to be approved.
Yeah, that probably does, where's the deed? That's why you're the chair.
well, here's what the one that we did up says. No amend by these presents that in consideration for the sum of $150 paid to the municipality of Sangerville by Sherry Lee Richards of 8 Stanley Lane, Gardner, Maine, 04345, the said municipality of Sangerville does hereby grant, bargain, sell, and convey to the said Sherry Lee Richard heirs and assigns the perpetual use and occupancy for the purpose hereinafter mentioned of the following described parcel of land situated in the village cemetery in the municipality of Sangerville, county of Piscataqua, state of Maine, to wit. That we, the undersigned selectmen of the town of Sangerville, on behalf of the town, in consideration for $150 paid by Sherry Lee Richards, the receipt whereof is hereby acknowledged, agree to hold said sum in trust and to apply the income thereof for the perpetual care of the said cemetery lot, designated as Lot 69A on plan on file in the Sangerville Town Office. to have and to hold the said use and occupancy of the said premises and the privileges thereof unto the said Sherry Lee Richards. It has in parentheses Sharon Bragdon Bean, because that is who's going to be buried there. Heirs and assigns forever. On conditions, the same shall be used only as and for burial for the human dead, and that the use and occupancy by the said grantee shall be at all times in strict conformity to the laws of the state of Maine and the ordinances, rules, and regulations of said grantor now or hereafter existing, with reference to said cemetery. Otherwise, the use, occupancy, rights, and privileges granted herein shall immediately terminate. I don't know what you dig somebody up or what, but in witness whereof we, the undersigned selectmen of the municipality of Sangerville, hereunto subscribe our names, affix the seal of the municipality on the 20th day of May, 2020 AD.
So why wouldn't we just do this for her?
Let's do this official. You wanna make a motion?
Yeah, so.
Then we can talk about it.
Yeah. So make a motion to approve that deed.
I would second it.
Okay.
Questions?
My thought is, if we end up changing something with the policy, she's the last one that,
Well, my thing
under the
is,
old rules.
you sent that
Okay.
verbiage to the lawyer. The lawyer just came back and said, I can do this for you to make it a little more simple. Did they say anything was negative or not legal about the way that was written?
So there were no major problems with it, that she was updating the wording to make it, she didn't say, that. She said there was no huge legal,
But that's a one-off, that's the only one of those.
yeah.
Yep. I mean,
So if we
we'll-
approve this one and there's some tweaks, it's not
Yeah.
gonna be material, and we'll move forward after that.
Right.
I'm fine.
Yeah, mine.
You wanna vote? We vote, it's unanimous.
Just don't wanna
Okay,
hold that.
so,
Yeah, hold it, yeah.
I'll make it right, but I wanna hold on.
well, I figured if we were redoing it, a legal opinion is probably something that would be.
Yeah, no, that was smart, yeah.
On to, item 7, town manager's report.
Okay, I didn't have time to write up much. I told you about the tax liens.
My pen's blue, should I do a black pen?
They are
No, no.
all out and back, and we're putting them in the system. The other thing I wanted to report is that the cemetery issue, I probably told you that somebody was doing donuts in the Knowlton Mills Cemetery.
Are you kidding?
This is an annual event.
Yep, it is.
I say, it's always over there.
Yep, happened both this time last year.
I
You know
reported
about
No.
this, Gail?
I don't know who
Did
it
you
is.
do it?
I don't have mine anymore.
What?
I don't have one. I sold my wheeler.
I reported, I think it's a truck.
Oh.
We reported some people who had been seen mudding in that area. We reported some people who had put on Facebook that they'd been mudding in that area.
Typical.
The deputy was gonna look into it for us.
Brady smirk.
Yeah, but they really made a mess.
Ah.
A local person has cleaned it up for us because they're a nice person and they have family buried in the cemetery, and then Travis went and did some more cleanup. There's some stones that are covered in mud. I don't know. I put all the flags out for the veterans.
I saw you doing that.
Yeah.
How many are there?
Well,
In general. Not to.
in the village, there were like over 100.
Whoa.
And
whoa.
then less than that in all the others combined, so
Quite a few.
you get about 2 boxes of
Wow.
flags.
With regard to cemeteries, is there any chance that we're gonna get that mess cleaned up in front of that French's Mill Cemetery before the weekend?
Probably not.
It's just a shame, probably people going in there.
Do we have some way to dump it? Jim, who mows the cemetery, said he could move it for us if,
How he's gonna move it, unless he's got like a logging.
I thought he said he had a little tractor. He was going down to his son or son-in-law's.
I don't know why we can't, I mean, we'd have to get a hold of,
Oh, his son is
near,
Yeah, he's putting in some big food plots, pulling a lot of stumps, so maybe he would have a place to put that.
No, he's asking for a place, right?
well, he,
Yes, no.
what he told me was he just moved it across the road, and I'm going, I don't know
No,
if
I
that's.
It's not
do that.
really the,
Yeah,
there is some on the other side of the road that originated on the other side of the road that also should be cleaned up, because it's literally on the shoulder. But, the whole front of this cemetery is
Well,
filled with huge,
Jeez.
so, and I had mentioned, Mr. Hanscom, but I know his truck has been full with the same load for a couple of weeks, so maybe he's having trouble finding a place to put it.
yeah.
we have a place to put it. We just need somebody to go pick it up.
Where are we gonna put it?
Why can't we put it
Don't we
in?
have a stump dump?
We got stump done.
This is
Patsy
logs,
lets us-
but I don't know.
Patsy lets us, I mean, you would want to confirm with her,
Yeah.
but I mean, we've always been able to put
Yeah.
stumps.
If we can get rid of it, I think it would be really nice to try to at least get the entrance of the thing
Yeah,
open.
Okay, I'll call,
even if you gotta close that.
yeah, I can call Zach or Thomas Logging.
100%.
The last time I called him, John.
Toby.
John had, yeah, Toby might, John had just taken his truck apart.
Or even Hanscom, I mean,
Yeah, Hanscom, in fact,
he drives by it every day.
he's got a load on there, maybe if we
Which
could help him
Hanscom?
get rid of the load.
Mark?
Mark,
Mark?
yeah. If we,
I have
maybe,
the number for, I can't remember if I have Mark's number or his father's number. I can see if they would remove that.
I got Dickies, I don't have Marks.
I know Dickies. I might have Mark's.
Not sure what Dickie's doing either, but Dickie might be another one. I mean, anybody around with a pulp loader.
Yeah.
I do have Mark,
Mark,
I'm gonna send it to you,
okay.
so. Yeah, it might be that if he could dump his load in our stump dump, then he would get rid of our other load, cause that has been sitting on his truck for a few weeks since the initial storm.
Yeah. The other thing is I've got Travis now out moving some of the brush. He was down and then he had another job and we've got a lot of brush on the side of the roads. I had sent Ingstrom's out, they did some of the dangerous branches that people kept reporting that were hanging.
I didn't touch Silver's Mills.
They didn't touch who?
Silver's Mills.
No.
Or Brockway.
They did,
I didn't see much on Brockway.
they did some of Brockway, they didn't do the ones from the Knowlton Mills intersection out. There appear to be quite a few there.
As far as even Travis moving brush, I wouldn't, there's too much, I mean. I
Well,
would
I
say-
got a quote from Zach saying that he would do brush removal, thinking 3 or 4 days for $1,600 a day. I've asked Toby, he said he'd get me a number, but he can't do it till June, and I'd rather have it done.
It's right around the
Oh,
corner.
yeah.
At this point, it isn't about the money, we just gotta do it.
Yep,
I mean,
so,
1,600 a day?
yep. That's
that's a
with,
crew.
Oh,
that's a
okay.
crew with
Okay,
mini
and
and
that's
truck.
getting it done.
That's mini excavator, dump truck.
Yeah, I mean, we'd
Yeah.
have to get it cleaned up.
Yes, we do.
So I'll just okay that then.
Yeah.
Yep, yep,
Um,
yep.
But once again, it's always a question of who can do what when, and when you need something done, and,
Yep.
Yep.
And honestly, and I would even, you know, things out that brush is different, and it might be a different option, I'm not sure, but we did have them do that grinding on French's Mills. The grinding itself was great. It was all the debris that was in the road that was the issue.
he's not gonna grind it. He's gonna go make a big pile.
No, I wanna know what he would charge us
Oh,
to do that
okay.
again, to grind.
He's not gonna chip it?
No, he's just
No,
gonna pick it
no.
up, haul it off.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He's got plenty of place to haul it.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I'm just wondering, we haven't done any brush cutting.
No,
French's Mills, as far as what was done was fine. The issue was the road, there was no cleanup.
Well, I think there were areas that were done it was beautiful.
Right.
Particularly the smaller brushy areas where, there was no residential, like it wasn't a lawn, it wasn't maintained. But when you got into an area where it was people's trees that were part of their, what they maintained, it was a mess.
Well, that's what I mean, we
People
talked
blasted
about that
those
part of
things,
it,
even the
right.
things that weren't in the road, and you had pieces of beach the size of your arm.
Sure.
In the middle of your lawn. So, that wasn't,
Yeah.
whippy brush, it was a great tool. But I wouldn't have him blasting trees again, not without a serious cleanup crew right behind him.
That's what I'm saying, that's what,
Yeah, no, I would look at that, but it's visually it's not very attractive when he's done. Now, I will say, if you drive the French's Mills Road today, you would never know he did it. In terms of the ugliness part.
right, and we did French's Mills, and that first time we had that bad storm in French's Mills, you could actually drive by, and then you come to Silver's Mills, and it's just
Yep.
scraping your windshields.
But we had vehicles get damaged because of stuff that's left in the road.
Correct,
So, you can't,
the cleanup part is huge.
yeah, it's as important as the cutting part. But I would be open to it with a little bit more management, yep, I mean, if that's,
Well, I don't know, yeah, I mean, with rules.
yeah, that's why.
Lawn areas,
As
house
opposed to no
areas,
rules.
skip by it, and then do everything that's deemed wooded. I mean, I don't know how you really wanna. manage
Well,
it.
the brush is obvious, but I mean, if you take a 200-year-old apple tree in the middle of someone's lawn and blast 2/3 of the limbs off at 12 feet in the air, it's
Yeah,
disturbing
yeah.
to people.
Yeah.
But if that same apple tree was in a wooded area, I'd hit it every day.
Correct,
That's what I'm saying.
Correct.
The
If you-
residential, your lawn, you skip, once you get back to
Correct.
the.
I see,
Yeah.
yeah.
in fact, we've got this huge apple tree that's split in half and is laying, it's encroaching in the road on the French's Mills Road. The landowner really,
Needs
I mean,
to-
we'll knock that back because the roadway has to be safe, but he's still gonna have half of a giant apple tree just hanging off his lawn. Now, a lot of people are dealing with that right now, and I get that, but we're gonna have to address that. It's not gonna fly the way it is.
Well, honestly, I mean, even if you're gonna have them guys go around with the excavator and clean it up, they can fire a chainsaw.
I would say.
Stuff like that. I
If
mean,
they're
I
gonna
would-
do the road, yeah, that would be great. And
They
then
could
they're
cut
knocking
that
off
off
that,
and haul it
as
all up.
much
and
tree as
do
we're
it.
concerned about and take it.
It's still in the roadway, it's still in the edge.
Yep. And I believe that legally, we could knock that top of that apple tree off and just kick it back onto his lawn, but I would prefer to clean them up if we got a crew out there. Yeah, I know it costs a little bit extra, but
It's not gonna be the expensive part of it, for
it
sure.
was a unique storm.
Yeah,
Everybody.
Yeah, but you're
lost.
not gonna, I don't believe you're gonna do it any cheaper than just cutting off the chainsaw and grabbing it and throwing it in the truck and hauling
Right.
it off.
I don't
No.
believe so either.
I mean, that's way cheaper than messing around and limbing it and brushing it and chipping it and,
no.
so,
Okay,
that would be good.
on to gravel roads.
Well,
Well, actually, we didn't get docks. Trees and docks.
nobody wants, I've asked a couple of people to move those docks, I may just,
We still don't have docks in.
no.
I did not know that.
Part of the issue is we pull them out and we pull some of the weights out with them and some of them are still in the pond.
But all the weights are still hooked to the docks.
There's some in the pond that aren't. And that was,
Somebody didn't pull them out right now.
exactly, that
You're
was,
supposed to pick the weights up, put them on top of the dock, pull the dock up. Right?
Well, really, technically, when you got a dock in 3 sections, what you should do is pull the pins and you pick them up out and stack them, but that's not how we've ever done it. All we've ever done, and usually they don't put the weights up, usually they just grab the dock and yacht it.
And the
Weights and all.
When the weights come out, then they use mechanical means to put the weights up on.
What are the weights made of?
concrete.
Depends on which dock.
Concrete? Oh.
Most of them
Oh.
are concrete,
I
some
don't
of
know
them, yeah, there's
center.
some other stuff.
So that's another thing, we're going into Memorial Weekend with our docks.
The docks.
Well, I'm pretty sure I can get Zach out there. If,
Yeah?
I didn't ask him first, I asked 2 other people.
Yeah, because 2 meetings ago, you said you
I
had
asked.
somebody lined up and they were going to.
Yeah, like the ice was still in.
Yeah, that's right, they were just
Um,
waiting for it to open.
The other thing is, if you don't wanna haul the weights out, you put a buoy
Sure,
on the weight, to hold the chain and.
Because you don't want that
Oh,
freezing,
except
to
that's
whale
right.
of a snowmobile.
that's true, that wouldn't work.
I used to do, I had a float that I did in Wassakeg, and I would put a buoy on it with a nylon rope, and it was fine, it was there every spring. I purposely, it was below the surface by an inch or two, but I could just reach down and then I'd have my chain and.
I've done the nylon rope and you just leave it long. You bring the nylon rope and you
Yep.
leave it back to shore.
I,
then when
you're
you
more
bring it-
apt to pick that up on a prop, but it will work.
So I'm wondering if I put these back in without hooking them to the weight.
Yeah, bring it back to shore is the easy way,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, that's
Yeah.
the simple way.
just tie it to a tree.
So what did they do, unhook the chain from the dock and just let it go to the down?
I'm guessing they rusted, I don't know.
Well, they just tore them up, broke them.
I don't know,
Broke the eye
there's
hooks.
literally one weight.
Well, I don't think yeah. I bet if you give him a call, his crew will get them out there and get them hooked back up.
That was a bit, that sounded like a pizza bet.
I'll call him tonight. It'd be nice to have it out for Memorial.
Yes, yes.
I have him on speed dial for me at work. He's there.
No, he's on my,
That's
Seriously.
great. That's good. So,
Okay, anything else on the spring issues before I go to gravel roads?
no,
Gravel roads.
Zach is going to give me a list, it's not a surprising list, of where to start. We have, obviously, the biggest project is the Line Road. And everybody I've talked to says we need to dig that out, put tailings or rock in, fabric, gravel. I don't know. We have had no road committee meetings because of COVID, so I don't know which projects to start with. I guess I'm looking for a direction. I have-
Is everything graded?
I believe everything's graded except maybe Knowlton Mills didn't get done. Did Thomas finally get done?
Mhm.
Good.
Okay. But we're gonna do Knowlton Mills.
We need to do Knowlton Mills, it's some pretty big ruts. We had a beaver issue out there.
Everything's gonna be like cement by the end of,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we have
think
no
it-
rain in sight.
I think it pretty much is now.
As far as this gravel road project, I mean, is this something that we could, do we wanna meet out there, one or two of us, along with Bridie, and,
We can, but I mean, my thing is, as far as gravel roads, my number one thing, if we can look at, is we all know where our mud spots are. So, what can we do to make them better?
well, that's what the suggestions were,
Are we
right?
looking, I wonder, are we looking to do the biggest project? Are we looking to do the biggest number of projects to get?
How much money do we have for gravel roads?
I didn't bring it with me. We added extra money for gravel in there, like 15,000, but I don't have the whole budget with me.
Yeah, I mean, if we get Zach's idea, or, so is he the only one we got coming with a thought of where we need to add gravel? Have we got any other input from anybody else?
I've talked to the Newts, I've talked to, tell me, I have not talked to other contractors.
Did Chris and Warren give you some feedback on what they do there?
Chris gave me some feedback, the Line Road feedback was the same. I mean, we talked about, there's a spot on Flanders Hill, there's a spot on Flanders Hill where I need to fix the culvert because the tar has come up. There's a wet spot on Flanders Hill in the gravel part that needs to be done. There's a wet spot on Townhouse that needs to be done. There's some ditching on the West Road that needs to be done. We knew that, we did just the bare minimum to get us to plowing. Anderson Road has,
It's got a couple small spots, but.
yeah, I don't remember Broadway Mills, Grant Road had a small spot, Jackman Corner Road had a small spot.
Personally, in my own opinion, that line road, for as long as I can remember, has been an issue. And as far as I know, this, all we've ever done is throw more gravel at that road.
just keeps throwing, just keeps going.
100%, I mean, that thing, that's all we've ever done.
So we need to fix it.
We proved by now that throwing gravel don't work.
Just
So,
keeps on getting
if
its-
you've got a couple of people's suggestion that we dig that back out and we put some stone in there and try it. I don't know, whatever it costs, I think we ought to try it, and then if that worked, that's how we.
Seems like a
tackling
logical approach.
Yeah, we
Other
had-
bad areas
right.
going forward.
We had 2 places on Thomas Road that were just sinkholes.
Yeah.
And both of them, one of them, the hill going up right before we get onto our land, you couldn't, that was not passable. And so we dug that all up, put talons on, put fabric down, put crusher dust or whatever, road
Yep.
quality or bank run. And that is passable 100% year round, doesn't move.
The
Both
tailings-
places that we
The
fixed.
tailings,
Yeah.
it's like they bridge.
Right.
And I mean, I'm sure there's a weight limit, but for normal traffic, it's really what Cleves did to the
Yeah,
end
yeah,
of the gray
that's
road.
right.
He just filled that thing with rock,
Right.
and it is never wet.
That's
Well, the
right.
problem is, there's enough fines, in my opinion, there's enough fines and gravel, the water can't go anywhere.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, if you throw those tailings in there, you got enough voids that it lets
That's
the
right.
water get out of there.
That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
That's right.
And
Yeah,
the fabric on the top
I
holds the
agree, give
gravel
it a
out.
try.
Yeah, and the fabric holds the gravel, so you never lose that gravel
Right.
that you spend money on.
But all your water gets to go
Yep.
out of there.
Yep. Both places, perfect. Don't move at all. Don't.
I can tell you, I was in on the West Road, and there ain't no way, there's no way I would have drove my pickup in there. And as a matter of fact, some of the people had, I'm not saying they were whatever, they were their special vehicles that sat out at the end, and that's how they were going in and out.
Well, that's a good idea.
And that's what I mean you had to, because you weren't gonna drive your regular vehicle every day
Yeah.
in
But
there. You left that at the end and you brought this,
Yeah,
I-
but a lot of communities deal with the same thing.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
I agree with Dale, I think we need to fix that road. That
It's
line
worth a
road.
try.
The
Let's
line
try
road, Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's gonna work. It's gonna work. It's definitely gonna work.
I know, but you know how this goes, you're gonna have so if we just take that one road, that one section, and if it costs us 3 times more than it's ever cost, cause all we've done is gravel,
But we've
And
just thrown gravel.
100%, and that fixes it, then next year you can say, oh, that spot, this is what we're gonna do.
Right.
Did you get any numbers?
No, I have not.
I would be nice to know what we're
Yeah.
talking about, but I think we're all agree, it's not any different than a paved road.
That's
We
right.
always kind of approach these things, let's do it right, if it
Yeah.
costs a little extra, just, it's fine, it's still cheaper in the long run.
And I bet that road over there especially, I mean, it keeps getting wider, but that is all gravel. I mean, if you're gonna do this and you reshape that road in, you're either gonna make it 4 feet taller, or there's a lot of gravel that you could haul out of there and
Reclaim.
put somewhere else.
Reclaim.
I mean,
Yeah.
it'd be interesting once somebody sets in there and they start doing that, what you're gonna find, but.
Yeah.
But I bet Flanders Hill in that corner, that always goos up, that's really what that oughta, same scenario.
I think that's something, if you just get numbers so that nobody's surprised, you'll be able to advance the ball there.
Okay.
Just let us know.
You want a couple of different numbers, I'm assuming.
Availability matters, but yeah, it'd be great if you
Well,
get
I
2 or
got
3
people
numbers.
calling me going, you know, you got any work?
Oh, that's
Oh,
good,
there
that's a
you
good
go.
sign right
You
there.
do, but at the same token, you.
Can't get your docs in.
Can't get your docs in.
That's right.
I know.
So, as we've all learned in the past, is it's nice to have this bank of people, but at the end of the day,
The
They
ones
wanna
that get
pick-
the job
They wanna
done.
pick what they,
Yeah, I mean, they gotta be reliable or their
Right.
value is diminished.
Right.
I mean, you can only have people tell you, yeah, I'm gonna do it, and not get it done so many times.
Yeah.
It's worth paying a nickel more to know it's done every time.
Yep, it sure is.
And you might find somebody who would give you a price who might admit, I don't really have time to do it, but at least you'd have
Yeah.
comparison.
An idea.
Yeah. Okay. Well, segues perfectly into paving.
I've been talking with Groundies because they had the best paving number. I talked to them about McFeeters, they could do McFeeters this coming week, I think, if we give the green light. And I basically said, yeah, but I haven't heard back from Lisa since I said, yes, when are you gonna be here?
They've been in Guilford, I know that.
I saw
Yep, they
them.
did some work up there, they were supposed to be there today, but they wasn't, they were somewhere else, cause I'm waiting
Okay.
for a phone call too.
Okay.
Stuff from them.
The other thing is East Sangerville. I was talking with Ben, he thinks that there are some spots when we reclaim that we ought to haul in some gravel He was guessing about 300 yards worth of gravel. He could get it for $17.99. So then the question is, do you want him to haul in the gravel and prep it and get it ready, or do you want me to get cheaper gravel locally?
$17.99 is delivered?
Yep,
You think we can get it local, delivered cheap on that?
Zach will do it for a little less than $1, a little more than $1 less.
It's $300.
Nothing.
To me, at the end of the day, I don't care who hauls it.
No, plus he can coordinate, it's
Right,
all his
right.
responsibility.
Yeah, I think,
That's within the margins of error, I'd let the man do it personally.
same here,
Yeah.
same here.
I don't care either way, as long as it's done and it all works in the end.
And they'll get the piece ready. I guess we have to decide which end we're doing. Obviously, we probably want to start on the end that we've ditched. Ben said that he'd go out and look at that East Anglo Flanders Hill section for me while he was on the feeders to see
Culvert,
the culvert, to see
Yeah.
if,
cause he
Really
feels
like-
like there's not ledge.
yeah.
I don't know why he's getting that in his gut, but
Well, he looked at
I
it.
hope he's right.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Did you have anybody else go out and look at that yet and see what it's gonna cost us for an idea for a price?
nope. I was gonna send Zach.
Go ahead.
The other thing
Is
is,
that, do they have a hammer?
I didn't see it on the list. But then he might.
Rental wasn't bad
He
though.
might.
No, it wasn't, I was just
Yeah.
wondering, I mean, I didn't know if he did or he didn't.
I didn't see it on the list.
Cause I would, myself, I would pay the price of the rental and hammer through that if we could get a culvert in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we obviously want to finish the ditching on that road.
Yes. Full steam ahead.
Yeah, yeah.
In fact, Roundy's, they're gonna be over there, I'll give you a price.
Yep.
Along with Zach and
Sure.
Chris and
Zach.
anybody else who wants to give you a price.
Yep.
Mr. Dobson called me and is looking for Phil, and he's not very far from over there. I don't know how much he'll take, but he said he wanted me to bring it up to you, so.
Okay.
So if we're ditching,
Yeah, so if we're ditching and the landowner doesn't want it, I think he's pretty close. He's over there,
Well, you can go across Knowlton Mills
There you
and,
go, look at
Yeah.
that.
yeah.
He's 6-7 miles.
well, I don't think so.
I mean, it's gotta be 2-3 miles across Knowlton Mills and he's a couple miles
Is
in.
it 2 miles across there? I don't know how far it is across
I'm
there.
guessing it's ways.
Yeah, that's what it is ways, but.
But if you don't have anybody, it's so close to the hauling back to town like we've done in the past.
Yeah, and does Cleese Farm take a lot of,
You'd have to ask.
I don't know, I can ask.
That's where we have dumped in the past, is right in their field. There's actually the pile there right
But if you
now.
go to, if you take Knowlton Mills past the cemetery and then you take that right, that's the road he's on, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah,
It's not very far out there.
it's,
It's 5 miles over there to Dover line?
oh, he's gotta be 1.5 2 miles down, isn't he?
He's a ways in.
Oh, okay.
And it's a couple miles across
Maybe-
Knowlton Mills. Anyway,
I thought, well, yeah, I guess it depends on where you ditch it too. I mean,
Well, I mean,
that
just
road's
from-
4 miles long, so.
from start to finish, Knowlton Mills is, gotta be a couple miles. So I mean, to stand on the East Anglo Road to Knowlton Mills is what I was going by. I don't care where it goes, as long as.
And I don't know how much he'll take either.
Yeah.
He said he, but anyway, that's.
Take it all, for all I care, as long as we get going.
So, yeah, I guess, I'll get numbers for that culvert. I'm going to have, I'll get numbers for some ditching, from Roundy's, from Zach, from Bailey Construction.
Yeah.
I didn't get the impression that Newts were interested, but I can ask them. Okay.
whoever's gonna get it done.
Correct.
And I think Roundy's could get it done fairly soon. They wanted to get the setup done for reclaiming, if that's what if that's where we're going.
If they recommend it,
Both, well, I got quotes from a bunch of different papers, but both papers who looked at it recommended reclaiming.
I think they're gonna recommend, yeah, that whole thing to be reclaimed.
I don't know about the whole thing, but there's that low area there, I mean, even my untrained eye, I'm thinking, they're probably gonna wanna put some gravel in here when they reclaim
Yeah.
it.
Well,
Yeah.
they recommend the whole thing be reclaimed, they're going
Yeah.
to recommend some places
Yeah.
have gravel hauled in.
Yeah, I think it'll be beautiful.
Are they still, having to use somebody else to do the reclaiming?
They are, they've got a new person down in Topsom, they're really happy with this person, availability seems to be better.
But it's somebody they're working with to reclaim, so
Right.
that's different than what we.
It's a person, it's a company that wants to focus on just reclaiming, they don't wanna be on, like before they were
Interesting.
using
Yeah.
another paver who
Okay.
who
Yeah,
do
did it
reclaiming.
obviously.
Right.
yeah.
So it would seem to me that they're gonna wanna provide really good service to the pavers, because
Correct.
all they do is run around and reclaim. Whereas if you do both.
Right.
Well, I mean, Randy's doing a lot of paving, so if it's somebody he's using, they're working back and forth all
Right.
the time.
Yep.
Yep.
So they probably have a pretty good, he's not doing it, but I bet it's just as good of a relationship as if he was.
Yeah,
Or he'd be finding somebody else,
right,
so.
so that's where we're at, and I guess we'd like to get going, we're
Oh,
getting
yeah.
pretty close to June, so.
Oh, yeah.
I'd rock and roll. That's
Yep.
it. Put these people to work. The only thing, I guess, that would, if we got some notification that we knew we were not going to get X amount of money from the state, we might pay less. But that's
So
the
you
only
wanna do the
thing.
whole deal, or you wanna talk, just do the binder on part of it, or?
I think we'll incrementally, as we get, maybe we should kind of be careful.
Yep.
Well, yeah, okay.
But if the money, do you know when we'll know on the money? No.
No,
I mean, what bothers me is, it's not so much the $100,000, because I think if we could get the town back together, we could get the $100,000.
Yeah.
But we don't have any way to get the money we have, so.
Right.
And now maybe.
But you know what, you say that, but why couldn't we? I mean, we've never had a town meeting that hit 100. So why couldn't you have a town meeting and take a little bit of work, but we could have a meeting. I mean, we could do a town meeting and set up for 50 and do an off-site with another 50.
Yeah, I guess if you broke it into two, you could, and we may not have this problem much longer.
Right.
Very, 100%, but I'm just saying.
Yeah.
If we did,
Yeah.
I'm pretty confident that, I mean, I know I've got a giant blow-up screen at work, you know, and so you could easily set up a camera and you could do this.
I mean, the church could easily do the 50 there and maintain the
And
distancing.
good spacing.
That was
Yeah.
not a problem over there.
Correct.
So
they aren't even holding church services right now, so I don't know.
Right.
no,
But they're-
but I've never been
It's
in
the same
there.
deal, it's 50, so I mean, they're not really.
Is
they're
that
not
what
gonna be
the
one
number
that-
is now, right
Yeah.
now, 50?
Yeah, it's 50.
And that's June 1st though?
That's next week,
That's right.
So, anyway, we'll cross that bridge, but, yeah, I think and of course, like I said, if we just do binder, we're okay anyway.
correct.
And finish it next year, but
Right.
I'd rather not, if we can get out of it. Correspondence?
Nope.
It's just additional agenda items. I had I have one thing. The saw, the asphalt saw, we had two people that I can remember that showed an interest. I think we should sell that while it's still running. It's not a big deal, but the longer it sits up there, the more likely it is to disappear.
So throw it up, throw an ad up.
Throw an ad up or call the two, Seth showed an interest, and I think the water district had an
Sewer
interest.
district.
Sewer district.
Sewer district,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So,
And I think the sewer district actually offered more money.
yeah,
And also the sewer district, and I'm not trying to sway this one, but the deal with the sewer district is if we sell it to them and we need to use it, it's still available for us to use.
yeah, and plus it's our sewer district. I mean,
Well, that's
I know
what
we
I'm
don't have
saying.
oversight,
That's
but
right.
it kinda makes sense to
Right.
wanna help
I
them.
don't really, but I mean, it's like saying here, you take it, you maintain it, and we still get to use it forever. I mean,
That
it's
works.
a kind of a win-win if we did that.
Yeah, whether it's $100 more or less, I think it's time to make sure that we,
Get, sell
yeah.
that.
And
Okay, so you wanna-
I forgot about the reciprocity part, that makes total sense.
Yeah.
So do you wanna bid it or do you wanna sell it?
I'd sell it to him, that's my suggestion,
Yeah.
because he already offered a price higher than the other offer we had, and
Yep.
You're
No
the ones,
motion?
you're the ones with the power to sell.
well, it's less than $5,000.
Oh, 100%. Well, you wanna find that, how about you just bring that for next time, we'll do it.
Okay,
'Cause I don't even remember what he said he was gonna.
okay, well,
Yeah, just
You know
check
what
with
I mean?
him, yeah, that would
Make
be
sure he
great.
still wants
Yep,
it.
Yep,
Yep.
all the understandings are the same, that would be great.
Yep,
And then if he doesn't, put it on Craigslist,
yeah,
but we'll make that decision next meeting.
yep.
okay.
This is regarding, because it's not on here, I don't think it's on here, the project of the new town office.
Okay.
I forwarded you guys some information that I got from Brian Howard regarding one of his, it's like a foreman, I guess, that kinda oversees these projects.
Project manager.
So he's offered, he said next week, he'd come and walk the building, we can have him look at both properties, but I think we ought to get the ball rolling there.
Sure.
And obviously you're the choice to walk with him, but I'd love to show up and hear what he has to say, so.
I'd show,
Yep, I
try
would
to
do.
show.
So we
So
need to call it a
we'll-
workshop.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, 100%.
If you can nail him down for a workshop, we'll,
I'll be
we're
available.
all pretty much home.
So honestly, you already brought it up, so let's roll with this. So I mean, my own opinion, I would think that whatever direction we're gonna go in, it would be very nice that if we could have a couple, more than one option. So, and with more than one location. So, that way there, if we did wanna do something here, or if we wanna do something in the ball field, or if we did wanna do something up at the town garage, or whatever. I mean, the building itself per se doesn't matter, it's the location, or, I'm just wondering if that may make the final process.
I don't see why you wouldn't, I guess if during our due diligence, we found out enough to say, okay, that's it, we eliminate that spot.
100%,
That would be different.
100%.
But until we get there,
Right,
it makes sense to probably.
right, because
Right.
then somebody said, why didn't you consider?
Right,
Waltham?
correct.
Why didn't you
Yeah, I
consider
mean-
what property we own already, a building we own already, right? so
And you know,
I think that's a good idea.
if it were more normal times, I think I would probably look at having a committee for this, just to get some involvement, but it's virtually impossible to do that.
Right,
I mean, Rick would be perfect,
yeah,
I
yeah,
mean-
he would.
all kinds of great ideas,
Right,
but it's not gonna
right,
work. So
no.
we've gotta spearhead this thing, and I think you're right. I mentioned, it was Bowman's, maybe Bowman would get involved and give us I mean, they do big projects, they could do this easily. Whoever does it for us, we can't just submit one, we're gonna need 2 or 3 anyway. So we'll start with Brian's team and look at both sites, talk about all the pluses and the minuses, maybe get someone else involved, and I still would like to try to have a proposal ready for 2020.
100%.
Yeah, yeah,
Cause this
The other-
problem isn't going away.
The other thing too that I was thinking about, and I know we've all talked about it, and we all know the library's getting smaller, there's thoughts of a direction there. But before this gets going a whole lot bigger, even in a thought process, should we really just meet with them and find out from them?
Yeah, in
nail
fact-
that piece down.
I'll get the ball rolling. I've had, my mother's president, and we've had conversations. I know they've talked about the idea that, their footprint would be smaller, it would be more of a digital type approach, but beyond that, I don't really, but I'll get the ball rolling on that end.
okay,
And, yeah, because we're probably gonna have 2 options, our proposal will be with and without, and the town's gonna decide, do you wanna continue this way or not? And
Right.
so, yeah. Okay,
I've been calling MMA property and casualty, they aren't returning my calls. We're working remotely, we'll return your call as soon as possible.
It's rough right now.
Yeah.
I've
So-
got a few state agencies and
Yeah.
it's rough,
Yeah,
trying to get through to people. and
because, I mean, we
phone
wanted to
calls.
know, you know,
good luck.
where we are and I'm not
Okay.
having any luck with that.
Anything else?
FYI, Guilford has their sand pile up.
Oh,
And I was suggested that we may wanna go look at it. So. They got theirs through Awesome,
okay.
so. It definitely seems a lot more
Another
granular.
person has called me back.
A lot more.
You have to call you?
Granular,
No,
Okay.
very
I
nice
was busy,
stuff.
Oh, I'm
Is it
sure.
from across the street? So we should do that. I mean,
Yeah, we should get our sand pile up
get it up.
ASAP.
Yep,
okay.
yep.
Yeah.
Got a list, I'll start.
Last year it was like snowing.
Yeah, no,
Is it?
and there's no reason not to be
Nope.
doing, that's something.
Well,
that we
and
just-
honestly, we all,
There's your sample right there.
well, I mean, if we get through if they get the street sweep and the parking lots cleaned up, and even if we, whatever, I mean, we've still got salt left up there, so last year, that was kind of an issue, cause we got so late, the salt and the sand was kinda going, eh.
Ah,
So if we could kinda get that going, get it up, don't get the load to put in the shed, but, you know what I mean, just worry about the pile, and then when we get to close to winter, then get that, so that stays better. But I mean, for what's up there, and what's around here, even if we can't, say if we're 3 or 4 weeks or a couple months out and get the sand pile up, we could take what's up there and what we're putting and mix in the salt, so it's not all a waste.
I had to do the salt bid through the state.
Yeah.
Yep. We'll have to back them in a week and a half or so.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that it?
Yep.
On to executive session, item 12.
I'll make a motion to go into executive session, MRSA 1, subsection 405A, annual evaluation of the town manager.
Second.
We vote. You all in favor? We're now in executive session and I've got 6:20.